Time for breakfast. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Become imitators of me, as I also am of Messiah. And I praise you, brothers, that you remember me in every way and keep the traditions as I have delivered them to you. And I wish you to know that the head of every man is the Messiah, and the head of woman is the man, and the head of Messiah is Elohim. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, brings shame to his head. And every woman praying or prophesying with her head uncovered brings shame to her head. For that is one and the same as if her head were shaved. For if a woman is not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it is a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaved, let her be covered. For a man indeed should not cover his head, since he is the likeness and esteem of Elohim, but woman is the esteem of man. For man is not from woman, but woman from man. For man also was not created for the woman, but woman for the man. Because of this, woman ought to have authority on her head, because of the messengers. However, man is not independent of woman, nor woman independent of man in the master. For as the woman was from the man, even so the man also is through the woman, but all are from Elohim. Judge for yourselves. Is it proper for a woman to pray to Elohim with her head uncovered? Does not nature itself teach you that if a man indeed has long hair, it is a disrespect to him? And if a woman has long hair, it is an esteem to her, because the long hair has been given to her over against a veil. If, however, anyone seems to be contentious, we do not have such a habit, nor do the assembly of Elohim. And in declaring this, I do not praise you, since you come together not for the better, but for the worse. For in the first place, I hear that when you come together as an assembly, there are divisions among you, and to some extent I believe it. For there have to be factions even among you, so that the approved ones might be revealed among you. So when you come together in one place, it is not to eat the master's supper. For when you eat, each one takes his own supper first, and one is hungry and another is drunk. Have you not a house to eat and drink in? Or do you despise the assembly of Elohim and shame those who have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I do not praise. For I received from the Master that which I also delivered to you, that the Master Yeshua, in the night in which he was delivered up, took bread, and having given thanks, he broke it and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." In the same way also the cup, after saying, This cup is the renewed covenant in my blood. As often as you drink it, do this in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you proclaim the death of the Master until he comes. So that whoever should eat this bread or drink this cup of the Master unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Master. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of the cup. For the one who is eating and drinking unworthily eats and drinks judgment to himself, not discerning the body of the Master. Because of this, many are weak and sick among you, and many sleep. For if we were to examine ourselves, we would not be judged. But when we are judged, we are disciplined by the Master, that we should not be condemned with the world. So then, my brothers, when you come together to eat, wait for one another. And if anyone is hungry, let him eat at home, lest you come together for judgment. And the rest I shall set in order when I come. And concerning spiritual gifts, brothers, I do not wish you to be ignorant. You know that you were nations led away to the dumb idols, even as you might be led. Therefore I make known to you that no one speaking by the Spirit of Elohim says Yeshua is a curse, and no one is able to say that Yeshua is Master except by the set-apart Spirit. And there are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different kinds of services, but the same Master. And there are different kinds of workings, but in the same Elohim who is working all in all. And to each one is given the manifestation of the Spirit for profiting. For to one is given a word of wisdom through the Spirit, and to another a word of knowledge according to the same Spirit, and to another belief by the same Spirit, and to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit, and to another operations of powers, and to another prophecy, and to another discerning of spirits, and to another kinds of tongues, and to another interpretation of tongues. But one and the same Spirit works all these, distributing to each one individually as he intends. For as the body is one and has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is the Messiah. For indeed by one Spirit we were all immersed into one body, whether Yehudim or Greek, whether slave or free, and we were all made to drink into one Spirit. For indeed the body is not one member, but many. If the foot says, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? And if the ear says, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, does it therefore not belong to the body? If all the body was an eye, where would the hearing? If all hearing, where would be the smelling? But now Elohim has set the members, each one of them, in the body, even as he pleased. And if they all had been one member, where would the body be? And now there are indeed many members, but one body. And an eye is unable to say to the hand, I have no need of you. Or again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. But much rather those members of the body which are thought to be weaker are necessary. And to those of the body which we think to be less respected, these we present greater respect. And our unseemly members have greater seemliness. Whereas our seemly members have no need, but Elohim blended together the body, having given greater respect to the member which lacks it. And there should be no division in the body, but that the members should have the same concern for one another. And if one member suffers, all the members suffer with it. And if one member is esteemed, all the members rejoice with it. And you are a body of Messiah, and members individually. And Elohim has anointed these in the assembly. First emissaries, secondly prophets, thirdly teachers. After that miracles, then gifts of healing, helps, ministration, kinds of tongues. Are all emissaries? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Are all workers of miracles? Do all have gifts of healing? Do all speak with tongues? Do all interpret? But earnestly seek the better gifts, and yet I show you a more excellent way.